Hi, I am Giovanni Fernández and I am professor of philosophy at the University of Havana. My presentation is ecosystem based on extended and responsible ethics for mobile robots and artificial intelligence in Cuba. International organizations and governments have seriously taken the priority to regulate the production and design of technological artifacts. Ethics in the design of mobile robots and artificial intelligence, and how to achieve its best possible implementation and results for humankind have been the center of discussions in the academic area. The main hypothesis of this presentation is that an extended moral agent cannot fulfill their expectation of extendedness without a dynamic and evolutionary ecosystem where the agent develops and behaves properly. It is important to establish a bridge between extended moral agents and ecosystems for two reasons. First, there is not a direct theoretical connection between these two subjects. Scholars have focused on improving the extended agent theory and the concepts of ecosystem or ecosystem of innovation independently. Second, if we want to understand the wide scope of the decentered ethics in the design of mobile robots and AI, these two theoretical frames cannot be seen separately but in coupled interdependency. This hypothesis will have a theoretical and empirical impact on the design of a Cuban mobile robot, Palmiche UGV. A Cuban engineer created this technology taking into consideration the control environment with an ethical and responsible performance. However, due to the deep problems of the Cuban ecosystem of innovation in refining several complex processes, such as finance resources, openness, and independences of the components, and mutual learning between subsystems, the extendedness of Palmiche as a moral agent has been affected dramatically in technological and development scenarios. That's why we will propose an ecosystem based on extended and responsible ethics for mobile robots and AI in Cuba. Extended agency theory. Hanson's extended agency theory begins with a radical question. Where does the moral responsibility for the priorities generated by the computerized system lie? With the human programmers and users alone, or also with the databases and computer hardware and software? The main point is the presentation of the network of relations beyond the human individuality and takes other parts of the system, such as AI and cultural factors, inside any ethical valuation. Verbeek goes beyond Hanson about the characteristics of the designer as materializer of morality. It becomes impossible not to consider a responsible design of the material environment a central task of ethics. In the vein of the extended agency theory, the designers cannot be human individuals. The ethics must be considered the material infrastructure for morality. In sum, we have established the necessity to rethink the classical ethics point of view and redirect it until a decentered vision of it. The extended agency theory is a good point to start. However, in this line of the argument, we precise another wide vision where this new ethics takes place, the ecosystem of innovation. Within the ecosystem ecology aroused the idea to treat it as a web of food dominated by traffic and competitive interactions. Furthermore, this web is the understanding of the structures of that ecosystem. However, Nancy Grimm is thinking of wide considerations and application of the ecosystem notion, what the ecosystem does in a landscape or biosphere context. This last notion is coupled with the extended agency theory because the ecosystem cannot be localized in a single spot, but the interdependence and coevolution of components conform to what the ecosystem does. In this sense, Stahl embraces the idea that an ecosystem can be applied to define the dynamical environment of innovation for robot mobile and AI. Actually, it is a term recognized by many international organizations. The limited Cuban ecosystem and Palmiche mobile robot case. The Cuban government has changed its science, technology, and innovation policy in the last 10 years. The Constitution of the Republic, the economic and social guidelines, some decrees, and decree law reflects how this policy has improved the restricted and old model of innovation system to research and development before 2011. The UNESCO Science Report in 2021 recognizes Cuba's effort to reform its model of governance have configured the country's main economic and political actors, opening spaces for private sector participation. In spite of the better government understanding of change, there are main problems that remain in the decisive expansion of R&D and have an impact in the progress of mobile robots and AI in Cuba. 1. Little flexibility in the interdependence of the actors who participate in the scientific and technological process of a bottom model. 2. Low external financial resource. And 3. Little discussion about ethical principles in the design of mobile robots and AI implementation. These elements are vital to understand why a Cuban robotic project like the creation of the Palmiche mobile robot has evolved asymmetrically. Namely, Palmiche was born in a complex and contradictory context in which it has not been connected efficiently with the legal frame, national research programs, national or abroad funds, and the industrial production of the Cuban innovation system. In the context of Cuban robot making, the existence and abundance of electronic components generally used in robotic platforms are dramatically reduced concerning the global scope. Therefore, one of the main focus while designing a robot was to produce a solution which integrated actuators and sensors that were already common and relatively inexpensive within the Cuban industry. In addition, the platform should base its electronic design and software development on open source platforms to further reduce the overall cost and make the project more easily replicable, thereby making the product even more appealing to be deployed in multiple branches of the Cuban economy and help increase the efficiency of logistic processes. Proposal of ecosystem based on extended and responsible ethics for mobile robots and AI in Cuba. Palmiche UGV is an instantiation of how decisive is the coupled interdependency between ecosystem of innovation and extended moral agent. On one hand, a limited ecosystem for mobile robots and AI in Cuba does not permit the dynamic interrelation of different actors in the innovation process as universities, national and international business enterprises, government, industries, and engineers and philosophers, among others. On the other hand, moral agency is both contributions of human and technology to a moral decision, implementation, behavior, and action. Palmiche has had huge problems with the ability to replicate its components and the sustainability of its functional operation in society. It is not possible to establish a real discussion of the extendedness in the design of Palmiche if all the actors who are concerned about development of this mobile robot are not involved in an ecosystem of innovation. In this line of argumentation, we propose the concept of responsibility as swarm, defended by Mark Zuckerberg as the connection between an ecosystem of innovation and an extended moral agency. The dynamics, interdependences, and evolution of an ecosystem of innovation include the complexity of the human and non-human actors, and it is useful to understand how businesses, enterprises, universities, and political decision makers can work together in order to improve the technological advances such as mobile robots and AI. Motivation for a social and economic impact of Palmiche UGV in Cuba. In spite of negative results in the Palmiche extendedness and ecosystem environment, this mobile robot has been very useful in different scenarios. Palmiche UGV was born as a solution to the growing problems faced by the Psychiatric Hospital of Havana, Dr. Eduardo Bernabé Ordaz. This hospital center, which we consider in this explanation as some specific kind of ecosystem, is classified as the largest psychiatric hospital in the world, with its 65 hectares for what it needs for its daily operation, the movement of loads, food, medicine, supplies, among others. The Technological University of Havana faced the challenge of providing a solution to this distance problem. This vehicle, as a prototype, was put into use for 6 weeks and it traveled 0.8 kilometers daily efficiently. Also, the automaton offers a solution to problems related to driving optimization and fuel efficiency. In addition, the project analyzes various environments in which autonomous vehicles, such as Palmiche, can be used in the nation, including autonomous transport and assistance in picking up items in warehouse, open-air logistics operations, such as those in cargo bays, ports, and airports, assistance to trucks and road convoys in the transport of cargo, delivery in the last mile, and as a service robot in the hotel industry, key sectors of the Cuban industry. In the same way, the automaton was designed to allow its easy insertion in the work environment and linked easy and intuitive interfaces for its communication with the operators. This vehicle, as a prototype, was put into use. Now we can see how a form of responsibility as swarm is operating here and ensembles the ecosystem and the extended agency. Two organizations share the responsibility to find out the technological solution for the movement problem at the hospital. They create a limited ecosystem when they produce and implement together the use of Palmiche UGV. In fact, the design of the mobile robot was thought to be used in a specific scenario with determinate moral values such as the well-being of the hospital employees and patients. The activities performed by the mobile robot mediate the behavior and actions of the people who interact with Palmiche, and this increments the responsibility of the workers over the technical artifacts and its evolution in the environment. Conclusions. In fact, the conception and application of this project has shown that public policy is in need to design instruments to ride the new wave of innovation, adapt the workforce to the challenges imposed to technological change, new skills, and continuous training, to improve the possibilities of technological adoption, minimize the costs of this transition, and ensure that society benefits from this change. Moreover, swarm integration is the key in this context from the generation of innovation clusters, knowledge transfer, technical cooperation, regional public purchases, connection of regional networks of incubators and small and medium enterprises, exploration of complementarities, regional education networks, harmonization of regulation and standards, among others. Also, our proposal, based on the discussion of the new model of innovation system for Cuba, is that the ecosystem of innovation, the extended moral agency, and a swarm responsibility are ensembled together. We believe that the implementation of this right in Cuba will improve the functioning replica of Palmiche in some core area of the society. Thank you very much.